Hello friends. So I wanted to just do a little bit of a reflection. I guess it's been like a mad, crazy week. And one of the things I was reflecting on based on, well, the fun I had first off doing my LinkedIn Live with Leanne and Abby, it was a hot one. And the messages that, well, all three of us received really made me reflect about the importance of, you know, people who look like me, black faces, hearing black voices, being black, you know, is so missing because there were so many people who reached out to me, and I know they did to Leanne and Abby as well after our session on Friday, just to say how gratifying it was, first off, just to see three black women be unapologetically black on a forum or on a platform like LinkedIn, where everybody's so conscious of how they're projecting their professional image. Not to say that we weren't professional, but for a lot of people, being on LinkedIn means that you have to show up in a particular way lest you be seen as unprofessional. And we basically didn't care. And then when you get into what we talked about, so the experiences of being black in the world of work, like the real gritty experiences, not the stuff that you see always kind of like written nicely, or when you go to D&I talks and you've got people talking about their experiences. Like, we went in really uncomfortable, appalling things that have happened to us, either the way we've been treated, the way we've been spoken to, the environments that we've worked in. And for a few people who were listening and watching, it was a bit of a shock. And it made me reflect as a black person, like how much that we internalize some of our experiences to the extent that we can laugh and joke about it, not because it's funny, but because it's so part and parcel of the way that we navigate the world that it's not even like we forget the ramifications, we forget the seriousness of some of the things that we're talking about because it is our everyday lived experience. So every time that I'm thinking to myself, God, am I too much? Do you know what I mean? Am I, when particularly, and I'm really conscious of that when I'm not happy or I'm annoyed because somebody said something and I just think, fuck it, I'm just going to, do a video and do that. But then there's still part of me that says, you know what, Shereen, look how many people you could be turning off to your message if you were just nicer. Do you know what I mean? And like calmer. And probably didn't swear so much. But then the bigger part of me says, well, do you know what? Conforming and flexing and bending and trying to squeeze myself into spaces is what I've done for most of my professional career since, I started working at 14, and always being conscious of the colour of my skin has meant that I have dialed down parts of who I am. And then bringing it to kind of reflecting after the LinkedIn Live on Friday, it made me realise, well, the danger is with that because we're so conscious almost of how we're portrayed in the world, right? That we get our heads down and we do what we need to do to survive and to get on. But then it means that we're showing other people that you've got to do the same thing. It's always talked about in the D&I space, you can't be what you can't see. And we all kind of nod our heads and go, yeah, it's really important to see people who look like us in senior leadership positions, people who look like us in the corridors of power, in politics, in media, in sport, in all professions. But actually there's something to say about we need to see more people like us in everyday circumstances. Because the danger is that we hold up seniority and being at a certain level in a hierarchy is therefore, that's the definition of making it. And for me, like the definition of making it is just when you feel comfortable to show up as your authentic self without feeling like you have to censor who you are. That's like making it, And I think for some of the comments that I was receiving, there were people who were looking at what Leanne and Abby and I were doing, and for them, we are the epitome of those that have made it. Like, we don't see it like that. I certainly don't. But for them, that we were, because, you know, they were saying things like, I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could say what you say. You know, I wish I was brave enough to come and be on a super professional platform like LinkedIn and be able to play Doneo and some old school dancehall music and give it a little bogle and give it a bust a little wine, because we have been taught that we can't do that. And when we do that, it's like, oh, the attention that it brings makes us feel uncomfortable, so we don't do that. So we only do it behind closed doors. We do it, you know, with our close friends. We're missing out on inspiring other people and saying basically that it's okay to be who you are, right? So whatever your culture, whatever your identity, whoever you are, if we're so conscious of hiding it because we think society is not going to accept us, we are not inspiring other people to be who they are. So it was just a bit of a reflection for me after what felt at times like a really heavy week. You know, there's days I felt like really heavy, really weighed down, you know, and it's a reminder that for all of, you know, sometimes my good mood, sometimes my not so good mood, that we are reliving, as Black people, we are reliving our traumas of day-to-day experiences. We're living other people's traumas of day-to-day experiences. When we read stuff, when we're watching YouTube documentaries, when we're watching Netflix documentaries, when we're listening to podcasts, you know, we are reliving through other people our own trauma. You know, and it frustrates me, even though I feel like it, hopefully this time it serves a purpose, but it frustrates me that, you know, as Black people, we have to break down. We have to be seen crying. We have to let white people see our hurt, for our pain to be taken seriously, to push other people to move past their own discomfort and go, do you know what, this is not on, like, what have we got to do? What have we got to do? What do I need to do? And I guess it is difficult to see those experiences play out day after day after day after day. You know, I live this as a Black person, and I live this as an unofficial job, and I still have people coming and wanting to talk to me about their Black experience or their experience of, you know, being more aware of what's going on. And it's a good thing, because I do feel like it is pushing for change and it will make a difference. But there are just some days that it feels very heavy. So I think that to have the LinkedIn live session and just to have fun, even though we were talking about some really difficult things, but just to know we had fun, we entertained, we were honest, we were like 100% real, unfiltered. And the freedom that there is in that, and then having other people be part of that, just, you know, really put me in a much better frame of mind, and I guess just a different frame of mind, and it's just a reminder for myself and hopefully for anybody listening that, you know, you can't underestimate the impact of what it is that you do, particularly when you're doing it in a way that's in keeping with who you are, because people do engage with that. I mean, you might turn some people off. There's probably some people thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to, that's not for me. But for every one person that thinks that, there are another 5 people that goes, oh my God, because I saw you doing that, now I believe that I can go and fill in the blanks. So that's my reflections before I end up rambling forever in a day. I just wanted to share that. Have a good rest of day, and I will see you tomorrow.